Hey everyone. All right. So here's my opinion on the rates and everything that's happening. First of all, everybody who knows me knows that, you know what? I'm not happy with what's happening with the rates. Okay. I'm not happy with that. I'm just as unhappy as everybody else is. However, I'm a real estate investor and I'm a real estate, coach myself and a business coach. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's the right conversation we should be having. I feel like in the real estate industry, we should be having less conversations about the rates and more conversations about the housing prices. If you look at anybody who bought, let's say in 1981, I believe in 1981, the interest rates were around 22%. Find me somebody who bought a house in 1981 at 22%, wrote out those interest rates for that term, and then sold their house at the end of their term. Most of the people who did that sat on huge equity. Most of the people were staying in houses over 7-8 years at that time. We're selling houses a lot more frequently now. But anyway, most people who sat on their houses for that time period and rode out the 80s, that terrible 80s that we hear about, they made obscene returns on their houses because they held on and then they sold their houses when they went up in value again. It's an investment. So, I mean, yeah, my variable interest rates on my investments were in the 2s less than a year ago. Now I'm in the 5s. Does that hurt? Sure, it hurts. I mean, of course it hurts. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But the biggest thing that I look at is I'm like, why do we keep talking about rates? You date the rates, you marry the house price. Okay. So if the rates are here and the house prices are here, when they dropped, I mean, history showed this, when they dropped obscenely low, prices went nuts. They went so high. Is that ever going to happen again? Yeah, the rates are going to drop at some point. I don't know when. I'm not a genie in a bottle, but they should drop within a year. So the prices will go up again. But when the actual interest rates started going up, the prices started going down. Isn't that the best time to buy a house, when the prices go down? I mean, this is going to change. The rates are going to change. They are going to change. They change all the time. And if you're nervous about it, lock yourself in and stick with that one for 5 years if you want, as long as you buy the house at the price that you want to buy it at. If you're upsizing, why wouldn't you buy it? I mean, history has shown, like I said, when the rates go down again, the houses are going to go up. So the frenzy of buying and selling houses right now is really puzzling why everybody's saying, I'm nervous about the rates. I'm nervous about the rates. I understand you're nervous about the rates, but also equally understand is that it would be very hard to go up to like obscene interest rates, right? I mean, use common logics in that sense. They can't. They would bankrupt, half the population. And I don't think with the GDP and the contribution that we have to it, they're not going to do that in the real estate industry. I do think, everything they're doing is working. I don't think the rates are too crazy. I really don't. I think if you weren't prepared financially, which is about 4% of the people in interest rates right now, they're going to feel the pinch if the rates go up again. And that's totally normal. They'll have to make some financial decisions on that. But for the most part, yeah, I'm not thrilled with the interest rates for my properties and whatnot, but I've budgeted for it. I've allocated for it. I feel pretty, decent about it. And I'm expecting them. I rode the low ones, so I'm going to ride a little bit higher. But I'm watching also equally, like I said, as an investor myself, I'm looking forward to purchasing a bunch of properties. Why? Because you know what? When everybody's fearful, that's when I'm getting into the market. When everybody was excited and happy, I didn't get into the market. So what am I excited about now? Well, I'm excited that the interest rates have movement. I don't find the interest rates, if you look at since 1990 to now, we are right around the average of all the years combined. So that's, that puts a little bit in perspective. So now that the housing prices are balancing out, and I do not believe they're going to plummet either. I've said that. I think that that's really hard to imagine. So when those rates are sitting there and they're going, okay, they're going down a little bit, or going up a little bit, then yes, the prices will adjust a little bit more. But everybody waits and they're looking and they're saying, they regret it all the time. I mean, who wouldn't? At 22% interest, everybody gets freaked out. But who wouldn't have wanted to buy a house in the 1980s? It was $70,000 to buy a house at 22%. So all the people who didn't buy then and were like, I'm not buying because the interest rates are too high, they didn't enjoy the gains. So when the rates actually dropped down again, they didn't enjoy the gains because they held back and they didn't get into the market. So my whole concept is this: we're spending way too much time talking about rates. We're not looking at the amazing value that's out there now, the great opportunities that I'm hearing people purchasing, the fact that you've seen where the market could go, with lowered rates. So it tells you eventually we will be heading back there again. So you've got to practice that. But also equally, we have a housing crisis in Ontario and Canada. So, and the United States has it too. So we are desperate for houses, and there's no solutions to that. So I mean, it's kind of like it's like knowing that you need air and there's not enough of it, then it's going to be in supply, right? Supply and demand. So I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where, like I'm saying, we're spending a lot of time talking about interest rates and scaring the pants off of everybody, but there's a lot of people who aren't looking and saying, if you're going to miss that opportunity to enter into the market when housing prices are, really good, or there's some fantastic deals out there right now, and you can afford them with today's interest rates, why wouldn't you? To me, that's kind of a no-brainer. Like I said, I go for the lower house prices. I know I'm only dating the interest rates, so I have to be happy with hanging on to those interest rates. But I've never been happier. I'm looking around going, there's some really great deals that I'm really hoping to get into this year. So again, looking at house prices, because that's what I'm marrying, that's what I'm committed to. So take a look at it. I really hope that a lot of people start posting out there about some of the positive things about today's market, because it's really disappointing to hear how scared people are, because we keep focusing on something that is a big jump. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, are there great opportunities out there? And there really are fantastic housing opportunities out there. So it's sad to hear that some people are going to hold back on that.